Today is February 3rd, 2026. It is 2:47 p.m. I don't think what I'm going to record today is about Epstein, so it's not going to be on PYTE. It's going to be over here on APTS Sussex. So I just did a recording focusing mostly about Tiana Taylor. There's some stuff regarding Omid, and then there was something about a Japanese volleyball player who hit one of the people who was around the court. So it's on PYT. There's a lot I have to share with you. I want to record it as soon as possible. So let's go on X. Let's do this one first. Oh, there's the volleyball player that I was talking about. All right, he hit the lady by accident, and he slid toward her head down. But anyway, we're not gonna focus this. We're gonna focus on some of the Epstein information that I came across. Oh my God, 4 minutes. Video of Epstein private island. Jeffrey Epstein on a private island called Little St. James. To reach the island, Epstein arranged exclusive transport. His private jet, known as the Lolita Express, will land at a nearby airport from where guests were flown to the island by helicopter. This island was allegedly used for the sexual exploitation of underage girls. Powerful figures, including politicians, actors, and businessmen, are accused of being involved in these crimes. I have to say, the funding for this, the Russian people really, let me not go into it. It's 4 minutes 2 seconds, but there will be screenshot in between. Okay. It says here, Epstein on 2 private islands in the U.S. Virgin Islands named Little St. James and Great St. James. Okay. All 14 release files, which include photos and videos, were taken on Little St. James Island. Oops, come on. I gotta say, that's a nice place, but horrible. My goodness. I mean, some of you may not gonna like what I'm gonna say here. To bring down a country or a whole bunch of other countries, who knows what else is involved. I know they got a lot of the US. One photo appears to show a dentist chair with men's faces or masks on the wall. Okay, what was I gonna say? Some of you may not like what I'm gonna say is that this kind of scheme to bring down a country without losing a whole bunch of soldiers, you gotta give it to them. Alright, let's see. Another feature, a chalkboard with words, power, deception, political, and other indecipherable terms written on them, so they can't read it. Okay. Alright, so you gotta give it to them. They spend that much money. How much a war will cost? Okay, this had to take a long kind of a thinking. Okay, what does that say? Another photo shows a telephone with multiple names redacted next to the speed dial button. Okay, so they redacted here. Okay, let me look it up since I'm thinking about it. Okay, so I asked Google. I mean, it's just a random number they probably give us. How much a war costs? There's a lot of things that takes into a war. To feed the soldiers, ammunition, equipment, you name it, helicopters, bombs, whatever they use for war. So a lot takes into consideration, and not only that, you probably will lose a lot more as well. The cost of war is immense, involving trillions of dollars for major conflict like the U.S. post 9/11 wars. Estimate over $8 trillion total. and encompasses direct military spending, veteran care, and huge and direct costs like lost productivity, while global violence costs the world economic around $14 trillion annually. So it's a lot. Okay, just think of it that way when you think about it. Okay, you could do more research, ask Google more questions about cost of war. A lot to take consideration, and the loss of life. That's another thing. And then let's say those who survive after they come back from war. There's, I know the U.S. don't even, some countries don't even bother taking care of their veterans psychologically, or losing limbs, and all of this play a role into it. So now to do this at the Epstein thing, you got politicians to let their guard down. That's the key here. Let their guard down. Key decision makers, they let their guard down and shower them with pleasure. Okay, shower them with pleasure with little girls. And I'm telling you, these people, they don't think. In a situation like this, you are in position of power. You can't trust anybody. And these men let their guard down and allow their body to be touched by little girls, young women. Okay? So when you think about that aspect as well, the cost of real war, the typical real war, there's shooting, bombs, and all of that, it's into trillions of dollars. And then you have this type of things, you putting politicians, key decision makers, in a compromised position, embarrassing position. Okay? And then once you get enough information about them and position where they'll be embarrassed, you're like, okay, now I'm ready. I'm gonna do this. You better vote that way, or we're gonna release this picture. You done did this, we're gonna release this picture. If the American people don't, how will I say that? As I'm processing what to say here, a couple things come into mind in terms of based on the UK system, how to manipulate the mind. They throw you one huge problem and then quickly they distract you to something else. I'm just hoping the American people do not let this go. Okay? The politicians who betray them while this brutalizing young girls. That's one thing I wish Americans don't let that go, because there will be a lot of distraction. You see the plan that Trump did when he get into office? Go after the gangs in the community, because he knows he was gonna give you problem in the neighborhood, those ICE people, to keep you preoccupied with them. Now the big mistake was ICE is to kill those 2 white people. But in a way, this is why I say sometimes it's like I'm not happy that happened, because the family all lost their loved one and those kids lost their mom. But in a way, I guess it was necessary to open white people's eyes, because it's white people who allowed this to happen, because their racism within them. They may not be deep racist, but they embedded the psychological kind of thing. They trained them from birth with their skin type of thing. Whatever they teach those kids about their skin color could open doors for them. Whatever they teach them. So all of that, it's their fault for allow this to happen. But the mistake that ICE made was the 2 white people that they killed. Now, those 2 white people that they killed give those racists who thought that they had the passport, the green light, that they'll be okay. But ICE just showed them is that you're not even safe, okay, with your white skin. So that's the big mistake ICE made. But I hope the American people don't let this go, because they've done too much damage. When You take your time to go vote, put them in office. They were supposed to look out for you, but instead they use the position that you voted them for to allow young girls to touch their private, and or for them to abuse young girls. Okay? And then you gotta give it to Russia. I'm sorry, you gotta give it to them. Alright? So all those other distractions that they were doing with Ukraine and all of that, I mean, they need Ukraine. I mean, he did his thing calculatedly in a way, but hey, so much to say. So much to say. Many of you will say, why am I giving credit where credit is due? But when you look at the difference, yes, they probably lost, let's say Russia probably lost soldiers with Ukraine, but what they did to America, to take down America like this without one of their freaking soldiers, you gotta give it to them. Okay, when you look at the cost of war for other kind of war that had happened, the US had been part of, and then what they did to the US here, again, you gotta give it to them. They didn't lose one single soldier. Okay, so let's continue. Another photo. Okay. Oh, redacted. I think I read that already. There will be fast forward. No trespassing. Alright. Oh, that's hideous. Where is that? A bathroom? How many kids probably been abused there? Jesus Christ. It's a nice place though. But knowing what went in there, it's kind of sad. A very nice place. I'm already 13 minutes. I talk too much. Is it playing again? No, it's not. Okay, let's see. Democratic Rep. Robert Garcia said in a statement that they are releasing these photos and videos up to ensure public transparency in our investigation. I think there are some names that they still haven't put out. Those names they probably didn't put out yet. They probably need some stuff from them. And oh damn. And to help piece together the full picture of Epstein's horrific crimes. The names that they didn't put out yet is probably because they need something from them. You don't do this or we release whatever. A very nice place. Very well developed. Okay, who owned these islands today and who maintained them? Yes, Citizen Jim was sold in May 2023 to billionaire Stephen Dekoff for $60 million. He planned to develop it into a luxury resort. No further sales reported as of February 2026. Okay, let me leave that alone. How much was it sold for? 60 million. So the amount that person said is correct. Let's go to the next tweet. Oh my God, I only did the first one. And I have a lot more. Alright, let's pause. This extremely disturbing video and the latest Epstein file that Jeffrey Epstein recorded not only shows what looks to be extremely young girls dancing unclothed in the background, but also showing a DNA paternity test on his desk. Wow. We need to see all of the unredacted of everything but the victim's name and photos now. What is Trump DOJ illegally hiding from us? If they allow us to see this stuff, imagine what they are hiding. Oh my God. Oh, there's the DNA thing here. My God, my God, my God. There's the thing here. It's exactly a minute. Okay, I'm gonna mute it because the music is copyright, and most likely I'll fast forward it. There's the dancing here. They redacted the other thing. Man, probably videos everywhere. Jesus Christ. We can't see anything anyway, so that's that. Let's go to the next one. I don't even want to go to the comments unless if there's more. Oh, maybe that one. Let's see here. Epstein file, what I found after 4 hours. So let's go into that maybe.
This is a child. This. Also a child.
My God.
That is a child's hand. You know how I know that? I have 2 of those. That's a kid's little hand. A child. Also a child. That's a child. You see the little block there?
Jesus Christ.
That's a kid. Literal children. See the hands and legs? That girl. This little girl. Children. Right there. Children. Child. Child. Children's legs. A child. This will be probably like less than 2 years old. This child. That's a child.
Was it a dildo that the child was holding?
We're not talking about teenagers. We're talking about literal children. As a mom, I'm speechless. People in power continue to protect people like these. Children. Literal fucking children.
YouTube is part of this because that thing that they put the disclaimer for, especially when things started happening in the Middle East, don't show this of children, and later on they create another one. I'm like, Jesus Christ, wow, absolutely disgusting. This is what Kash Patel swore to Congress then exists.
This is a child.
Alright, let me pause. Anything else below that? I don't want to read all of this. It's very disturbing. Next one. Prince Andrew home. So there's that here. Andrew multi-million-pound cottage that he has been sent to. You are paying for this. Does it seem like punishment to you? Look at the place. Alright, you've got to be kidding me. Nope, zero accountability. There's all of that. I have news for you. Andrew hasn't been sent anywhere. He's still living at Royal Lodge and you are paying for it. It doesn't matter which place he is. Look at the freaking palace. Alright, so there's... what is that? Meanwhile, this is what we are having to deal with. It's inhumane. No one is talking about it. Using British citizen... okay. You could pause and read. I don't want to read all of that. Next tweet. Too much. So I saw this and I thought I'd share with you. There's one video that I did where Sarah Ferguson was in one of the US TV shows talking about defending Prince Andrew. I think that's the video that's there right now. Okay, yeah. It's season 6, episode 61, I think. Yeah, episode 61. That's the video it's in. So here they're saying here this is one of Ferguson's Sarah's friend, and all of a sudden now she's doing a 180. Well, Liz Cundy, who previously acted as Fergie's besties and spokeswoman, and who read out statements in defense of Fergie over contact with Epstein, now does a U-turn saying she was lied to by Fergie. They know exactly what's going on. Okay, now that everything out, they have to save face.
Have you spoken to her since all this started?
No, I haven't recently, and I myself feel quite let down. I mean, obviously our thoughts are with the victims here, but you know, feel quite let down because I got a messages from Sarah to say actually on this show about her reasoning for getting in touch with Jeffrey, and I actually read the statement out on this show that was given from her people that you saw, and I read out, and it isn't the truth, and we're seeing more and more of these emails, sadly, where she's been very much in touch with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, unbelievably close, and sadly, it is a horror show, and it is absolutely horrific.
They know. She knows.
Yeah, for everyone involved, particularly the victims, to read all this, but for her daughters, who, I mean, they were known as the tripod, a very, very close-knit family, and they are absolutely disgusted and embarrassed by all of this. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is their mother, and I do believe that you can't go through life being angry, and it will, you know, and they have to make amends with her. I hear that Beatrice is very much more sort of, you know, what can I say, understanding in a way. Eugenie is not, and is really not speaking with her. So
I
it's a
heard
sad
Eugenia's
situation.
cut off Andrew as well.
And she's cut off Andrew, so it's a sad situation. But I mean, I just saw an interview just now that was with Jeffrey Epstein. It was unbelievable, where the actual interviewer said, "Are you the devil?" And it, you know, it feels like that Andrew and Sarah have actually done a deal with the devil, and he's toxic beyond the grave, and this is not going away, and there is more to come.
What do you think she should be doing, Sarah Ferguson? How do you think she should handle this?
I personally think she should come on maybe this show and do an honest, open interview. I think after all of this, we need to hear the truth. You know, not trying to sweep it under the carpet, saying, "Oh, I only sent this, you know, email to Jeffrey because he was threatening me." We need to hear the truth, because, like, I've stuck up for her, and I feel I've been kind of hoodwinked in some ways, and I think it's only fair, and a lot of, you know, for everyone's sake, let her speak her truth and the real truth.
Oh, what truth can
and
you hear from that?
Come on here and do it.
Well, yeah,
quite risky, I think.
The invitation is there.
Is extended.
Extended. I would very much like to hear from Sarah Ferguson. Henry, when it comes to the daughters, which is the question that we're asking, it's a very, very difficult situation because, of course, you know, what the public scrutiny is like. People, even though they were quite young at the time, it seems like a very odd decision to make, to take your daughters to visit someone who's just come out of prison.
You know, Sarah Ferguson did her thing. But also, I think Andrew, the royal family, used Sarah Ferguson to be the front person to do the dirty work for them. All right? This is not to say Sarah Ferguson is innocent. I'm not saying she's innocent at all. But they use Sarah Ferguson extra, okay, to be the forefront for Andrew and possibly some of the royal family. Each one of them were using each other, but, you know, the royal family, blood royal, have more power than non-blood royals. So they were using each other, and at the same time, Sarah Ferguson was using her position as well to get money for herself from Epstein and from wherever she can. But anyway, it's just crazy. That's that. Alright, seeing how these people close friends and lies every time they come under the microscope, I don't see why any sane person will believe anything they put out. Anytime they are challenged, they lie and cover up. They have been doing it to our face for years.
Have you spoken to her since all the...
Okay. It's all just to save her own face. It's no surprise the hoops this lady will jump through just to try and stay relevant. Yeah, I think she knew. Alright, hypocrisy lay bare. Liz Cundy relentlessly targeted and smeared the Duchess of Sussex, yet was vociferous in defending Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew. You reap what you sow. Doesn't look quite so noble now, does it? Yeah, she knew what was going on, okay? She's just saving face right now. Now, the thing is, what the people, including in the US, is gonna do about that. Alright, so there's this here. This one is only 14 seconds. Breaking, Melinda Gates says Bill Gates' numerous mention in the Epstein file makes her unbelievably sad for the alleged victims and brings to mind some uncomfortable question. Source wildcard with Rachel Martin. Alright. This is the only spouse former spouse I will have to say, give credit to, because the moment she found out, she removed herself. Okay? That's the only spouse. Maybe there's others, but at least she's one of those that literally say, I'm out. Can you imagine with all of those things that's going on? And who knows how many kids were born? Oh my God. Can you imagine? Because they have no care in the world whose kids they're using. Can you imagine one of these people get one of those girls pregnant and then they keep the baby and then abuse that baby as well? When you think about these things, it's just freaking unbelievable. Unbelievable. Alright, 14 seconds. Let's listen, screenshot.
Questions remain there of what I can't even begin to know all of it. Those questions are for those people and for even my ex-husband. They need to answer to those things, not me.
I agree.
And I am so happy to be away. Questions remain there of what I...
She's so happy to be away from that. I think the moment she was aware of it, she's like, I'm out. Okay. Not only with the nonsense that was going on, let's say there's disease out there. Could bring transmitted disease to her. Oh my God. Not one single person who paid to rape children on Epstein Island has been arrested. Okay, Bill Gates after visiting Epstein Island. Alright, so you could read some of this. Let me move on. Next one. I don't know if it's a video or just tweet. I have one more. Okay, so there's that here. The Epstein file are darker than anyone can expect. This one revelation is enough to turn your stomach. 1 minute and 51 seconds. Screenshot, okay?
Another one of Epstein's regular visitors at his disgusting pedophile mansion was, shocker, Woody Allen, who has been quoted by saying he doesn't regret his friendship with Epstein. He actually found him charming. Now, if you don't know, this pig was accused of assaulting his then 7-year-old adopted daughter, Dylan Farrow, who has spoken out candidly and openly about what her adoptive father did to her. And a recording of Mia Farrow and Woody Allen has resurfaced. It's actually heartbreaking. Listen to this.
What you've done to Suni, what you've done to Dylan. Dylan's a baby. How could you do that to her? You've told me nothing but lies. Dylan tells the truth inconsistently. And I didn't know the doctor had to report this to the authorities. I went just to be sure she was all right. And she's not all right, Woody. She walks around the house holding her vagina. She sleeps with me. She's scared of you. And you hurt her. And I feel pretty guilty myself that I wasn't there to protect her. She said, Mommy, you didn't help me. She said, Daddy shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have hurt me like that.
How is this sick fuck not in prison? Nothing ever happened to him. Shocking. He actually went on to marry Mia's other adopted daughter, Suni, who he helped raise since she was a little girl. And now the two of them have 2 young adopted daughters. Well, we can add Woody Allen to the names of disgusting, powerful, elite men who are somehow coming up in the Epstein files over and over and over again. But they're all innocent, nothing to see here, especially him. FBI checked it out, it's all good, all fake. Do you know why justice will never be served for the thousands of victims, young children? Because the same people that and tortured them are the same people running the world.
That's true. This is what I'm saying. People need to pay attention to this. When they see something is happening, they switch. Oh my God. All right, let's see here. Well, is no one is gonna break the silence. This satanic cult will never stop. Epstein Trump files. Okay, what is that now? Is there more videos? Okay. There's image. What is this? This is images. Yeah, getting all of them on cameras and videos. Jesus Christ. Alright, let's do the video. Where is it? Let's listen to this. 1 minute and 34 seconds.
Like the rest of you, I am physically ill from what I'm seeing. Small children with their little hands taped to a table with bags under their eyes, who you know are probably no longer with us, because it's not just abuse, it's beyond that. It's actually killing children, torturing children, and it's our government. And to see these videos, I, like the rest of you, am crushed. It steals your soul. It takes your soul from you to witness this inhumanity. And I don't give a fuck what people call these people in power, lizards, and you want to go off on this shit. There are no more conspiracy theories. This is what is happening. This is who they are. And if we, the people, don't stop this, then they run ramshot over the rest of us who have an ounce of fucking humanity left. But I have to say something. It has to start with us. We have to go after the media all the way up to the Capitol. We have to dismantle this. Otherwise, it's over. It's the end, because it doesn't get any more horrific than this. And I know that it does, but I don't fucking want to see it.
Alright, what number? I think I'm lost here. Let me pause this. 11. Let me pause. I'm lost with my list. Okay, I see it. Alright, I added 3 more to it, and some of them has to, the 3 one that I add has nothing to do with the Epstein file. Let me pause this. Pause. Okay. Massive breaking. We've identified the unknown man lying on Epstein plane and the Epstein files. Former South African ambassador to France from 2024 until his death in 2025, Nati Mathwa. Okay, so if I pronounce his name wrong, yes, that's right. He died by suicide after allegedly jumping out of a window. Out of the window. That's a blueprint from Russia. On the 22nd floor of a building in Paris in September 2025. Many have questioned whether he actually took his own life, including some end with family. What the F? Alright, let's see here. 51 seconds. Okay, I'm just showing this. I don't know if it's true or not, because I did read some of the comments. They were saying that it may not be the person. Okay? Alright, let's listen.
So Ed posted a video right here yesterday showing a man on what appears to be Jeffrey Epstein's plane with a bunch of young women. Well, we've just been able to identify who this man is, and his name is Nati Tetwa. He was the former South African ambassador to France before he died in 2025. Now, listen to this.
The Tetwa family says there are still unanswered questions about the circumstances of the death of South Africa's ambassador to France, Nati Tetwa. He was found dead in France earlier this week after falling, apparently from the 22nd floor of a hotel in Paris.
The Epstein files just keep getting more and more interesting.
Okay. There were some things I was seeing. They were putting comparison between his pictures. They say some things about his one have gap tooth, the others don't. Okay, maybe it was that one. Okay, nonsense. Different men, not why they have gap teeth. Okay, so I don't know if it's true or not. So this was the one on the plane, I think. And they claim this is this person. Okay, let's just say allegedly. I don't know. Alright, let's leave that alone. Next tweet. This has nothing to... Well, I don't know the connection. Maybe there is. It has to do with cannibalism. Alright, let me pause this. Okay, cannibalism is part of a white culture. They even ate Egyptian mummies, dead bodies wrapped and preserved thousands of years ago. So what Jeffrey Epstein and others did isn't new to many. There was a time I was doing a video and I was like, I usually give my opinion, do all sort of things. And then as I start looking more into this thing, I was like, these people are not human. And I start saying evil originate from the UK and all of this. I don't know. Alright, but 33 seconds. Let's listen.
Cannibalism is not illegal in the United States with the exception of one state.
What?
The only state in the United States where cannibalism is illegal is the state of Idaho.
Are you kidding me?
No.
I am not leaving my house today.
White people have always indulged in cannibalism. They ate their slaves and they ate black people that were free after the Emancipation Proclamation, after lynchings.
Cannibalism is...
let me pause and search that. Okay, so I type, what state is cannibalism is illegal in USA? Oops. Okay, Idaho is the only state in the United States with a specific explicit law that criminalizing cannibalism. So the entire states need to be, oh my goodness. No other specific law with 49 other states do not have a specific statute explicitly named anti-cannibalism. This does not mean the act is legal. Other criminal law, cannibalism is effectively illegal across the entire USA because it violates other, more general criminal laws, such as those prohibited murder, assault, and the desecration of abuse of a corpse. Okay, so there's that. Whew, these people are crazy. Now I see why white people are so obsessed with black people. Makes sense now. How does that make sense? None of this is true though. LOL. It's very much illegal everywhere. We just want to watch you from across the ocean. Please grab. Okay. These people are crazy. This what I think some of these white people might be thinking of. Just my humble opinion here. Because many of them, they know the truth, the foundation of black people, the true Israelite, the true gods and things like that. So what they're trying to do, in my humble opinion, is erase the originals, which is black people, and then they're gonna present themselves as the one. The same thing can be said when you look at when Harry and Meghan, the squad usually highlight the copy of the clothes Meghan wear with Mumbo. Okay, while they're diminishing Meghan, you could see the parallel. They're diminishing the original and they're uplifting the copy. So when you look at it in that sense, they're trying to erase black people, and then they're trying to be black people or whatever power and possession that black people possess, and they're gonna try to make themselves be that one. But they can never be original because there's that mindset. They are structured. When people are moving freely, okay, when people are moving freely, they go crazy. They want to know everything. So this is what they're trying to do, to put people in a box where they could see how you go. And this is something that I have said, I think, in Spare. Harry had said something and it crossed my mind, and I compared with architecture, the line and the space and the way things are structured. You could see where things are, they could monitor it. So when people are moving freely, they can't comprehend, they can't really function. It drives them nuts. So they're trying to put people in a box. They want to be godlike in order for them to possess whatever it is that they think God is, okay, so they could control people. This is where we are right now. They're trying to control the world. People who move freely, they can't deal with it. It drives them nuts. So they're trying to position themselves as God. In order for them to do that, they're putting all those pressure, doing all these barbaric thing, punishing people, put people in a box, and so you could comply. In order for you to move around, you have to ask them permission. At this time, this is where you go. I'm telling you, these people are crazy. These people are crazy. They are positioning themselves to be godlike. You see the Middle East, they erase the originals. So they're going to possess themselves as if they were the true Israelite. This is where God, Jesus, was born. So they're going to position themselves, tell the new generation that's growing, they were the original, while they're diminishing and erasing the originals. This is what's going on here. Alright, so this is my opinion. Let's get back to the original recording. This is another one. This has to do with Biden-Harris administration. Alright, so let's see here.
A lot of people are...
To liberals, how do you feel knowing the Biden administration had these files the whole time and then released them? Now, there's something I thought about not too long ago. I may have mentioned it in one of my videos where I said, okay, there's a possibility Biden might have been part of these things. Okay, they probably didn't get him in the Epstein Island file, but whatever group it is, the racist, this kind of thing, because he have said some stuff in the past about Haiti and things like that. I think I said it, and then the part I cut it out and put it for my members only. So let me not bring it up and give myself more work. If you are one of my members, you probably know what I said about that. Alright, so let's listen to this. This is almost 3 minutes.
A lot of people are asking today, why didn't the Biden administration release the Epstein files when they had the chance? I already know the answer to that question, and I think a lot of people know the answer to that question. I have a different question, and my question is for liberals and those who support the Democratic Party unquestionably and will defend everything they do. The blue MAGA types. Why aren't you more angry that they didn't? Why aren't you more angry that Merrick Garland and Biden's DOJ had all this information and didn't indict anybody. Why didn't they indict Trump? Jack Smith had the evidence needed once he did his investigation about January 6th to indict Trump. Why didn't they do it sooner? For all the talk...
Okay, one thing for sure, whenever Democrats, this is not to give any excuse, okay? But due to past pattern of things, whenever the Democrats wants to do something, they have Republicans in office as well to prevent things from happening. Okay? They have their people who probably they themselves who've been elected have done some of those illegal things, who are in office, who's making sure that these things don't be released. It's just the Trump administration, because now they got the Senate, the House, the presidency, and the judicial, okay? The Supreme Court, okay? They have, it's like royal flush. They own everything. Not own, they control all of the branches within the government. And you see Trump is doing all of those crazy stuff. If, let's say, for instance, the Senate was run the majority by Democrat, and the Supreme Court run by majority Democrat, let's say the opposite of Trump, okay? They will not allow this to happen. So we cannot blame all Democrats for Biden not releasing that, because they also have Republican in office, especially, what's this guy from Kentucky, okay, who keeps on putting roadblock after roadblock. One of the things that he did, you got to give him credit for it, all right? When President Biden, when President Obama was in office, I think Obama had the possibility of putting, I think, at least 2 Supreme Court justices. And he made sure to prevent Obama from doing that. And that was a big mistake from President Obama. And then the people, it's a collective of fault. We could point, collective of fault that got us here. If we had stayed on point and we back up President Obama during his first term, midterm election, and people vote for Democrat and make him, a lot of things could have done. A lot of things could have changed. Okay, we cannot blame Democrat for not putting this, because they also have Republicans who will make sure these things don't come out. The perfect example I could say is where President Obama was, I think she mentioned it, Garland. I think President Obama was gonna nominate for the Supreme Court. Okay, and then the Republicans, especially that senator from Kentucky, put up stop to it and said, oh, it's election season, let the people let the people give their voices and things like that, depending on how the election goes. And he knew President Obama was going to put someone who would look more favorable, unlike the scrums that Trump had put in office. So we cannot blame the Democrat for that. It's many of us, this is where the people is to blame for. We didn't vote the right way. We put MAGAs after the election, President Obama's second term. And then we never really got on track anymore.
Oh, it's a political prosecution against Trump. They really didn't do shit. No, you know what came out in the news recently? Biden administration was investigating Ilhan Omar. Instead of going after the people in the Epstein file, instead of going after Trump for his crimes, they were investigating Ilhan Omar on bullshit. So when Harris was asked...
The other thing as well, it's only Trump that they allow to get himself involved in everything, including private companies, which should not be his thing at all. He should be focusing on foreign policies and all of that. But Trump put his hand in everything. When a president-elect, what do you call this? Someone for the Justice Department. I forgot the term for his position. Okay, once the president nominate someone to run the DOJ, he's out. It's up to the Senate to give him the green light to get the position. Now, Garland, we do not know what was his thing. I don't know what to say, because a president should not get involved, unlike the way Trump is getting involved in everything, into the DOJ business. I don't know what to say about that. So I understand what she's trying to say, but we have to understand the way things run. It's just Trump that's getting his hand in everything, because his cronies will probably be in trouble with Russia or something like that, and keep their mouth shut and let him do whatever he wants. It should not be that way. So we cannot give President Biden the same kind of thing as Trump, because Biden, it's not his responsibility to dictate what DOJ should be doing. All right, let me look it up, okay? Oh my God, I'm going too far with that. Okay, so this is what I wrote on Google. Is the President of the United States allowed to dictate what DOJ does? Okay, I'm not going to read everything. Whether a U.S. President can dictate Department of DOJ action is a subject of intense debate, balancing the President's constitutional authority as head of the executive branch against long-standing traditions of law enforcement independence. While the President appoints, okay, this is the Attorney General, and can technically direct DOJ priorities. Okay, norms have historically insulated criminal investigation from political interference. Okay, they could direct them, but they cannot tell them how to do the job. So you could ask Google the same thing, but let me read the conclusion. Ultimately, while the president has the power to set overall policy, directly dictating individual investigation is generally seen as a breach of democratic norms. All right? Even if not strictly prohibited by law, according to the Los Angeles Times and Political Fact. It's like, I don't know, should I say unwritten rule? I'm not in the law kind of thing, but technically, in a way, he's not supposed to tell them but how to run the DOJ, but not how to run, but give them, because this is part of his administration. He could say, this is what I want to be done. This is priority number one, priority number two. And the Attorney General, who's supposed to know the law, have to go based on the law and practice it. I don't know. But anyway, let's finish listening to her.
Asked, why didn't they release the Epstein files? Her bullshit answer was, it was because we really cared about the independence of the DOJ. What does that have to do with actually going after the people who are criminals? Because there's a lot of people in those files that are criminals that should have been arrested. Why didn't you go after that? Oh, because we didn't want the DOJ not to look independent. You know, by not going after people that you know are criminals, that's not being independent. That's political. We all know why they didn't really release them, because it's bipartisan and elites protect elites. There are both tons of Republicans and tons of Democrats in those files.
There it is. You got your answer. They're gonna make sure that doesn't release. There'll probably be some group, let's say Crackhead and maybe AOC and some others, but their voice are very minority in there. And the others who probably part of it on the Epstein file will not want to release it. So they're already in there. It's like telling the fox got the chicken or something. All right, but let's continue.
Larry Summers, who is a darling of the Democratic establishment, they literally tapped him to write Project 2029 to fight back against the Republicans. He is all over those files. So the question is for Blue MAGA, what are you going to actually start directing some of your ire at the people in power that allowed this to happen? Because for all of you who spend all your time yelling Jill Stein into the void, why don't any of you sit with the fact that they did this to you? That those in power, the Democrats, the Biden administration, allowed for Trump to become president again, knowing all this information about him and knowing that this information was devastating and that he could have been in jail right now with the shit that Jack Smith had on him, totally separate and apart from this. But at the very least, had these files come out sooner, it is unlikely he would have won again. I know a lot of you won't ask yourselves that question because that is a hard pill to swallow, especially when you have been doing free, basically, propaganda for them and trying to convince yourself that they were going to save you, but they're not. You should be furious that they did not indict Trump. You should be furious that Merrick Garland sat on his fucking hands for years, and you should be furious that they did not release these files.
In some part, I agree with her. In some part, I don't think she was paying attention to what was going on in Florida, because there was that lawsuit that was going on in Florida to indict Trump. Okay? The judge that was there was putting roadblock. I mean, you have to pay attention to what's going on. They were in the process. And then what happened during the election? Trump won. And then they had to drop it because whatever reason. If you follow Midas Touch, maybe go back around the time where Jack Smith was taking Trump to court and things like that in Florida. So there's so many things that there's no one cut answer to this. We could point fingers left and right, but these people who are on the Epstein list, let me pause the Epstein list, are part of it. They guarding the thing. So I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't even think I'm making sense with anything that I say. But anyway, this is the last tweet that I have here. Okay? Whatever this part is, we're coming for it. When I saw that, this is the only reason that I put it. Okay, whatever this part is, we're coming for it too. Alright, so Erin Jackson won. So what is that? Speed skating. Alright, so she won. I'll put screenshot in between. You know what? Let me just go to this. Go on YouTube to look for that video, because I cannot play it properly, okay? YouTube will flag me. Just in case you happen to stumble on this video for the first time, I have problem with YouTube. Alright, so that's that. Alright, speed skating, pretty much track and field on ice, Erin Jackson and Shani Davis. It's the way they say, we're coming for it too, because black people tend to be good in a lot of sports. Okay, so that is it. What else do I have? Okay, so this is something that I had on the list somewhere, so let me just get rid of it. Okay, breaking. In a shocking upset, Democrat Taylor Ramett has defeated Republican Lee Wormsgans in the Texas State Senate District 9 runoff. This is a flip from red to blue. Red is Republican, I'm saying this because there might be some people outside of the US who stumble on this video. So the red is the Trump type of people, the MAGAs, the Republican, and the blue is Democrat. Let's say Crockett or President Obama type of political affiliation. Alright, so they're saying here in Texas, this person, I'm not from Texas, so this person who is a Democrat won. Okay, so we need to be very careful. It's very hard, because I could see MAGAs pretending to be Democrats to run for office so they could get in there, and then they fall in line again. Alright, that's all I have to say. I'm gonna leave it alone. Alright, so that's that. So please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. Okay, my next video is ready, so let me upload it now. Alright, so that is it. Thank you for watching.
Lavanaka. It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better